afternoon. Welcome to 5th District Court, State of Utah versus Mia Bailey. Case number 2415-01193. Mr. Stout, Ms. Bailey, and Mr. Jager. Now for the court for a roll call, Mr. Stout.
Your Honor, thank you for having this today. I think a few issues I need to address with the court that I'm sure the state will address as well is that I have not received discovery yet. I have been in good communication with the prosecutor's office, with Mr. Jager. In particular, I understand the difficulties that they're having, but I did just need to put that on the record that I received an initial batch. It's the probable cause statement, so it's not much there. I'll let the state address that with the court. I have not received discovery. The second thing I do want to address that I just found out is that Ms. Bailey is not being afforded phone calls to me as her attorney. I have been able to visit her at the jail, so she does have access to her attorney when I go out there, but I need her to be able to give me a call. I'm wondering if the court can intervene in some way so that she has some access to be able to call her attorney when she needs to, at least a short period per day or a certain number of times a week or something. I know the court doesn't like to get into the management of the jail, but where it's an issue of having access to counsel, I think that's important for the court to be aware of that. Other than that, I would simply be asking the court to set this for a review in maybe 45 days for another roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Stout. First, as to the phone calls, transport, can you speak to that?
I'm not familiar with that, but there are a number of reasons why they may not be able to use the phone, but I'm not sure what reason we have currently.
Okay, what is Ms. Bailey's current, is she, her lockdown, is she?
I'm not sure on the status on that, unfortunately, I'm just transporting today.
Okay.
But we'll get back with the courts and notify of the reasoning behind that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jager?
And when it comes to discovery, we are working on discovery as we speak. There is a lot of discovery, and we want to make sure we do it right, and so we're actually going to base stamp it and get it all organized, and that's what we're working on. So when we turn over discovery, it's all together and it's organized. And that's why it's going to take a little longer. It's just we want to make sure when we turn it over, it's base stamped, easier to work with. We plan to have that turned over by next week. There's just been a lot to put together to get that turned over.
Can we get a time frame or a date certain, Mr. Jager, that your office would be able to do that?
Again, we're working on it right now, and we definitely should have it by next week. Yeah, we should have it. If you can give us 1 week, if you want to come back next week, we've turned it over, or however you'd like to do that.
Mr. Stout, we've heard Mr. Jager in your response.
And I've been aware of that. Mr. Jager has done a very good job of keeping me informed of the progress they're making, the reasons that nothing's been turned over as he's indicated. There's been a lot of other cases coming in, I understand too, that have strained their resources. I'm very aware of that. And I appreciate that what they're doing is taking care to make sure that we're getting everything and that it's in base stamp. That actually helps both sides quite a bit. I think it would be appropriate for the court to enter an order, or at least a strong admonition with a date certain. As far as coming back, I am scheduled to be in trial the first 3 days of next week. So I don't know if the court wants to just set a date if we need a review. I believe that the state will comply with it if the court makes it order with the deadline. And whatever would be reasonable, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Jager, I'm going to give the date of July 17th at 5 p.m. for discovery to be sent over to the defense. If something comes up, let the court be aware. Maybe we get on a conference call.
And that should be we'll follow through with that.
Thank you. As to the phone calls at the jail, I think that it is reasonable that the jail make arrangements for Ms. Bailey to speak to her attorney at least I'm gonna say once a day, but several times a week, and maybe a time that works. If there's a problem, or if the jail needs to have something they want to add, I'd like them to make contact with my assistant, and then I'll see what arrangements can be made. Okay. When would you like this set, Mr. Snow?
Your 30 to 45 days, I think, would be appropriate.
Any
And if
objection?
there's an issue with discovery, I can notice of the hearing sooner.
No objection, thank you.
Thank you. One moment, please. August 15th, August 15th at 3:30 p.m. Roll call number 2.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else from the state,
Not from the scene.
from the defense?
Good, thank you.
Okay, thank you. The call will be in recess.
Let's find out if it's on phones, just what it's saying. Sorry. Pretty well.
State of Utah versus Mia Bailey, case number 2415-01193. Mr. Stout, Miss Bailey, and Mr. Jager. I'd for the court for a roll call. Mr. Stout.
Your Honor, thank you for having this today. I think a few issues I need to address with the court that I'm sure the state will address as well is that I have not received discovery yet. I have been in good communication with the prosecutor's office, with Mr. Jager. In particular, I understand the difficulties that they're having, but I did just need to put that on the record that I received an initial batch. It's the probable cause statement, so it's not much there. I'll let I'll let the state address that with the court. I have not received discovery. The second thing I do want to address that I just found out is that Ms. Bailey is not being afforded phone calls to me as her attorney. I have been able to visit her at the jail, so she does have access to her attorney when I go out there, but I need her to be able to give me a call. I'm wondering if the court can intervene in some way so that she has some access to be able to call her attorney when she needs to, at least a short period per day or a certain number of times a week or something. I know the court doesn't like to get into the management of the jail, but where it's an issue of having access to counsel, I think that's important for the court to be aware of that. Other than that, I would simply be asking the court to set this for a review in maybe 45 days for another roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Stout. First, as to the phone calls, transport, can you speak to that?
I can't at this time, I'm not familiar with that, but there are a number of reasons why they may not be able to use a phone, but I'm not sure what reason we have currently.
Okay, what is Miss Bailey's current, is she, her lockdown, is she,
I'm not sure on the status on that, unfortunately, I'm just transporting today.
okay,
But we'll get back with the courts and notify you of the reasoning behind that.
okay. Thank you. Mr. Jager?
You know, when it comes to discovery, we are working on discovery as we speak. there is a lot of discovery, and we want to make sure we do it right, and so we're actually going to bait stamp it and get it all organized, and that's what we're working on. So when we turn over discovery, it's all together and it's organized. And that's why it's been taking a little longer. It's just we want to make sure when we turn it over, it's bait stamped, easier to work with. We plan to have that turned over by next week. There's just been a lot to put together to get that turned over.
Can we get a time frame or a date certain, Mr. Jager, that your office will be able to do that?
Again, we're working on it right now, and we definitely should have it by next week. Yeah, we should have it, if you can give us 1 week, if you want to come back next week, we can let you know that we've turned it over, or however you'd like to do that.
Mr. Stout, you've heard Mr. Jager. Any response?
Your Honor, and I've been aware of that. Mr. Jager's done a very good job of keeping me informed of the progress they're making, the reasons that nothing's been turned over as he's indicated. There's been a lot of other cases coming in, I understand too, that strain their resources. I'm very aware of that. And I appreciate that what they're doing is taking care to make sure that we're getting everything and that it's being bait stamped. That actually helps both sides quite a bit. I think it would be appropriate for the court to enter an order, or at least a strong admonition with a date certain. As far as coming back, I am scheduled to be in trial the first 3 days of next week. So I don't know if the court wants to just set a day if we need a review. I believe that the state will comply with if the court makes it an order with a deadline. And whatever would be reasonable, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Jager, I'm going to get a date of July 17th at 5 p.m. for discovery to be sent over to the defense. If something comes up, let the court be aware. Maybe we get on a conference call.
And that shouldn't be a problem. We'll follow through with that. Yes.
Thank you. As to the phone calls at the jail, I think that it is reasonable that the jail make arrangements for Ms. Bailey to speak to her attorney at least, I'm going to say once a day, but several times a week, and maybe a time that works. If there's a problem or if the jail needs to have something they want to add, I'd like them to make contact with my assistant, and then I'll see what arrangements can be made. Okay? When would you like this set, Mr. Stout?
Your Honor, 30 to 45 days I think would be appropriate.
Any
And if
objections?
there's an issue with discovery, I can notice of the hearing sooner.
No objection to that. Yeah, that'd be appropriate.
Thank you. Give me 1 moment, please. August 15th at 3:30 p.m. Roll call number 2.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Anything else from the state,
Not from the same.
from the defense?
No, no, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We'll be in recess.